Have you ever dreamed of a job so boring it feels like watching paint dry? With a company laptop and a paycheck? Me too! Today we're diving into the wonderfully boring world of remote jobs that pay the bills and definitely won't keep you up at night. Okay, so let's take a second to truly appreciate boring. Because not every job has to be your passion. Sometimes you just need a job that respects your time, that pays you consistently, and that does not suck up all of your emotional energy. Boring jobs are process-driven, they're predictable, and when you're working remotely, that predictability makes a huge difference in reducing a lot of the burnout that could happen. And if they come with a free company laptop, even better. So here are 5 great ones that I found, and I will be sharing how you can land each one. But first, this information in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial, career, or legal advice. I do not guarantee job placement or specific job outcomes. So no, I'm not a financial advisor or a tax professional, just someone who reads a lot of fine print and drinks too much coffee. So please do your own research and talk to a pro if you need official advice. And while we're on the topic of coffee, please let me know down below how you like your coffee. Do you order at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts? I personally like to mix my own and I use Bustelo, but let us know down below in the comment section.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Alright, so first weighing 8 out of 10 on the boring scale is the tax associate. And I personally rated it 8 out of 10 because this work is probably one of the most structured jobs that are out there right now. In this role, you are looking at a lot of documents. You're typing in numbers, you're reviewing deductions, and you're going through a checklist of different forms. So you're not brainstorming new ideas or jumping on video calls. You are just following the same steps for every client. So what makes this boring? Well, the rules don't really change here. Once you know how to do a 1099 or a W-2, you're going to be doing that over and over again. So there is comfort in that predictability, but it's definitely repetitive. And great news is that as I am recording this video, there is an open remote position that is available right now for the tax associate at a company called Panda Wealth. Panda Wealth is a company that gives financial advice and support, and it's mainly to Chick-fil-A store owners and their teams across the US. So they help with things like money planning, taxes, and financial strategy so that these businesses and their employees are able to succeed. They're all about quality work, company culture, and treating their team well. And as of right now, Panda Wealth has a Glassdoor rating of 5 out of 5, which means that most of their employees are really happy working there. They like the leadership, the company mission, and the people. And now the tax associate role for this company is all about helping people, specifically Chick-fil-A operators and their teams, to stay organized with their taxes. And so this is a lot like being the person who is going to double check the numbers and fill out important forms, pretty much making sure that everything is legal and sends updates to the clients mostly by email. So it's a behind the scenes role, but super important because it does help businesses to keep running smoothly and legally. So if you're someone who likes to follow steps, solve problems, and maybe even catch small mistakes that other people might miss, then this is a great fit for you. Even though some people might call it quote unquote boring, it's actually perfect for folks who enjoy structure and a quiet, focused work environment. So the best tip for applying, I would say, to make sure your resume clearly shows your attention to detail, your ability to follow different systems, and any experience, or even if it's from school or volunteer work that involves working with numbers, organizing information, or maybe even communicating professionally through email. And it's a bonus if you mention that you're good at spreadsheets or you took any accounting classes in the past. Those are going to be gold for this kind of role. And bonus points also if you say that you're comfortable with confidential information handling or 1099, 1040 familiarity, even if it is just you using it through personal experience. So accounting is a flexible career, constant demands and longevity. In fact, the AICPA reported that 75% of today's public accounting CPAs will actually retire within the next 15 years. So this means that this industry is making huge space for new hires, so it is a great time to start a career in accounting and bookkeeping. And no, you do not need to be good at math at all in order to get in.
I jumped into it many years ago and really landed in accounting and pursued a career in accounting, worked for several Fortune 100 companies, several multi-billion-dollar companies, working in the U.S., worked a little bit down in South America, lived there for some time, and came back to the U.S., did many finance leadership roles, and worked for a startup. And now I actually run my own accounting firm, and we currently have 8 employees in the company, and having a lot of fun doing that. Back when I was, in school, I had no idea exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something in business. Since I've graduated, years ago, there's always been a need for accountants. And so I went down that path really looking to say, okay, not only could I get a career, but I can also pick up a skill that could be useful in so many different aspects. Bookkeeping is a bit more kind of the entry-level clerical work, to where you don't need a degree to do it. A lot of people who do bookkeeping don't have a degree, and I know many people who own bookkeeping companies who don't have a degree. It wasn't something that they studied. They took a training course that taught them the skills of bookkeeping, of being able to reconcile accounting, bank statements and credit card information, and then being able to use some of the softwares like QuickBooks or like Xero or something like that. Like, they learned the software through a very inexpensive course, and they were able to really start working in that field and find opportunities. Historically, you really needed a college degree to be able to get into that. But now, there is this phenomenal thing that's going on in the accounting industry, that right now there's probably about 1.5 million accounting jobs right now. And on average, the statistics are showing that usually there's about 300,000 open jobs every year. So, all of the accounting jobs we aren't able to fill them all. And so companies have really started questioning, like, do you really need a degree to actually do this? Or do you just need the skills to actually do it? And so you're starting to see a lot more companies really opening their perspective and saying, hey, you know what? We're no longer requiring that you have a degree, because we need people who have the willingness and the interest and some basics of the skills to be able to get into, the field of accounting. And I think that because there is such a shortage, the opportunity is just only getting bigger. To be completely honest, most accountants use calculators, or they use spreadsheets to do the calculations anyway. So most accountants are not that great at math themselves, because they're constantly using the tools around them. So I would say is you do have to have some level of comfort of using the tools around you, because what I will tell you is one of the most annoying things is if you're talking to an accountant and there's a question about numbers or a calculation comes up, and they're trying to do it in their head while they're sitting in front of a calculator. It's like, just put the numbers in the calculator. It's just like, I don't want you trying to figure it out. It's going to take you longer to try to figure it out in your head than it would be for you to just type the numbers in the calculator and then give me what the answer is. And that's a lot of what we do. And I always tell people is, accounting is one of those skills where you learn to use the tools and the resources around you to do your job. And it's not one where you have to know all of the stuff in your head. It's use the tools around you to do your job.
All right, so as you can see through Course Careers, you can get started with a 4 to 8 week online course. And this is all designed to teach you everything that you need to know in order to secure an entry-level accounting role. And this is no matter what background you're coming from. So this course is super budget friendly with options like a free introductory course, a one-time payment option, or a bi-weekly plan that allows you to test the waters, dip your toe in, absolutely risk-free. So check out the link down below that will give you access to your first free class and receive a huge discount to further your career to get fully certified. Like I mentioned, I am currently a human resources coach within Course Careers, so I can highly vouch for Course Careers as being an incredible online university for you to get your hands-on experience and build upon your resume. Okay, so next up is the customer service representative role, which I personally rate 6 out of 10 when it comes to boring, because customer service is probably one of the most common remote jobs that are out there. You're going to be answering calls, answering emails, or maybe even chats, and helping customers solve pretty basic issues. And the reason why it feels boring is because you're answering the same 5 to 10 questions every single day. So it's like a playlist that's on loop. So you're resetting passwords, you're tracking updates, you're updating addresses, you're repeating. But for people who like knowing what to expect and don't want any surprises, it's actually a kind of perfect role for them. And at this time of me recording this video, a company called NPI or Neo Pollard Interactive is looking for someone who fits this role to work remotely. So the company is a company that builds and also runs digital lottery games, basically the online version of scratch-offs and lottery tickets. So they're the top company within the North America region, and they're focused only on online lottery games, and they work with government lotteries to help people play securely and easily through their phones or their computers. They are known for being innovative, for being fun, and super focused on making player experiences enjoyable. The Glassdoor rating for Neo Pollard is about 3.3 out of 5 stars, and this shows that employees generally enjoy the work culture, they enjoy the flexibility and their management. So this customer service representative job at Neo Pollard Interactive is a fully remote position helping people who play online lottery games. And so in simple terms, your job is to chat with customers by phone, email, or even live message, and you're helping them solve problems like, say for example, if they can't log in, or if something does not load properly, or if they have any questions about their account. It's kind of a mix of tech support and customer service, and this person gets to do this all from the comfort of a company laptop. So there is a company laptop included. A lot of employers provide one, plus a headset for this type of role. Now, the best tip when you are applying, I would say, is to highlight your communication skills, especially if you have ever helped someone with tech problems, or even if you have done it just casually. If you've ever worked in customer service, that's going to be huge for you. Also, emphasize that you are patient, you can type quickly, and you are comfortable using live chat and email. If you want to stand out, I would say to mention that you enjoy helping people and you can stay calm when someone is probably frustrated, having the worst day of their lives. That's a huge part of this job. You might also want to use keywords like CRM, ticketing system, or Zendesk if you've ever worked with software. And if not, you can mention your soft skills like your patience, your empathy, and experience resolving customer concerns remotely. And if it is just chat only, you can emphasize that you have typed and you have great typing speed and grammar accuracy. Okay, so next is the role of the payout and risk operator. Okay, and so this is one of the most behind the scenes jobs that you can do. You are logging in, you're looking at financial transactions, things like lottery winnings or payouts from an online platform, and you're making sure that everything checks out before the money is sent out to that specific winner. So it's boring in the sense that you're not really interacting with people, and the work itself is kind of robotic. You basically log in, you scan for fraud, you double check the accounts, you click approve, right? That's it. So it's all about routine in this role. But if you like solo work, working by yourself, this is kind of a dream job for you. And yes, they almost always provide a laptop since you're dealing with a lot of sensitive system information. So at the time of this recording, the same company NPI is also looking for a payout and risk operator. And so this is a remote position as well, where you get to help make sure that all the online lottery payouts are handled safely and correctly. So in simple terms, you're checking if the payments going out to the players are real and they're not suspicious. You're watching out for any problems or risks that might hurt the company or the customers, and you're following the rules to keep everything legal and secure. You'll also create reports about these payments and the risks, making sure that everything is documented well and it's accurate. So it is a behind the scenes job that is focused on protecting the business and its players. So when you apply for this job, I would say you should show that you are detail oriented, you're careful, and you're really good at spotting out problems or maybe even unusual activity. So if you've ever worked with rules, policies, or doing tasks that might require a lot of accuracy and following steps, you should mention that. Also emphasize any type of experience with compliance rules that you might have by saying that you're comfortable analyzing financial transactions or reviewing digital records under time-sensitive deadlines. Also, if you have ever worked with high-volume systems, you should mention that because it makes you sound enterprise ready. So this job comes with a company laptop and is another great remote option for someone who likes organized, focused, and quiet work environments. Okay, so the next is the payments, risk, and underwriting analyst. Sounds fun, right? It's very similar to the last job, but this one focuses more on reviewing businesses instead of individual payouts. So here as the underwriting analyst, you are basically approving or flagging merchant accounts like online sellers or even service providers. So you're digging through these applications, you're checking the IDs, the bank information, the tax forms, and you're deciding whether they're safe to use on the platform. So why is it boring? Well, there is a lot of repetition here. You're comparing the same types of forms against the same checklists every single day. So there is very little variation here and almost zero customer interaction. But again, that makes it low stress. So you do your work and you basically move on. There are no surprises here. And so at the time of this recording, a company called ShopMonkey is looking for someone to fit this role. So ShopMonkey is a software company that helps auto repair shops run their businesses smoothly with easy to use tools for their payments, their scheduling, and management. They basically focus on creating great experiences for their customers and the shops while keeping things safe and reliable. Payments, risk, and underwriting analyst tier 2 job at ShopMonkey is a remote role based in Texas. They have another one in California where you get to help protect the company from losing money during payment processing. So simply put, you're reviewing cases where customers or merchants dispute charges, help solve those issues by communicating clearly and professionally, and you're making decisions about whether to approve or deny a merchant account based on their financial information. So you're watching out for signs of fraud or risk, you're investigating suspicious accounts, and you're helping to prevent the company from losing money by catching these issues early on. So if you want to apply for this job, my best tip here would be to highlight any experience that you have with finance, risk management, or even customer communication. You might also use phrases like KYC or AML compliance or even fraud detection within your resume. Even if you just did basic verification work, show that you are analytical, you're process oriented, and you're capable of maintaining confidentiality. So tools like Plaid, Stripe, or PayPal, you should mention that too, because this job is a good fit for people who like problem solving behind the scenes and want a remote role that basically involves both analysis and communication. And this is often with a company laptop provided. So yes, the common fintech space, they usually ensure secure logins and proprietary tools, so they do provide you with the equipment most of the time. So next up is one that you might have heard me mention before here on this platform, but this is the job of the sales development representative. So this one is a little controversial because there are people who find sales exciting, but if we're going to be honest here, entry-level SDR work is super repetitive. So you're sending out cold emails, you're making out cold calls, you're updating a CRM, and you're repeating that loop dozens of times a day. So even the conversation that you're having, it follows the same script. So what makes this really boring is that you're not closing out these deals. You're just trying to book the meetings for someone else to close them. So it is high volume, low variety. And so at the time of me recording this video, a company called Bandolier does have an opening for this position. Bandolier is a small but growing company, and they basically focus on helping people with little or no experience get started in sales careers. And this will be by connecting them with fast growing companies. They believe that anyone with the right attitude and willingness to learn should have a shot at a good career no matter where they live or what experience they have. So they provide the training, they provide coaching, and lots of chances to grow professionally. This company is rated well for its company culture, continuous improvements, and strong support. Although they are a smaller firm, the Glassdoor scores do vary. And they do provide you with a laptop and access to CRM tools and other prospecting platforms. So this business development associate job at Bandolier is indeed a fully remote entry-level sales role where you get to help growing startup tech companies find new customers. So basically you'll be reaching out to people via phone, email, and LinkedIn to start a conversation, also figure out if they need the company's product, and also help set up meetings and get them to sign up. So you don't need any previous sales experience because Bandolier, they're actually going to provide you with the paid training to teach you everything about sales as well as how to work with customers. So when you are applying, my best tip would be to emphasize your communication skills and also your eagerness to learn and grow in sales. If you've done any work that involves maybe talking to people, customer service, or even retail work, you should mention that. Also show that you're comfortable with technology and you're open to feedback because the company does invest heavily in their training and their coaching for your success. So this role provides a company laptop, and it's perfect for someone who is looking for a remote, structured job that has room to advance quickly. Also, I would say to show that you are coachable, use words like quota-driven or comfortable with rejection, and maybe experience using outreach platforms like maybe Salesforce, Apollo, or HubSpot. Also, you don't need any experience, so just show that you are coachable, you're persistent, and you're okay with rejection. So that's basically what hiring managers want to hear within this role. And if you don't have any experience, say that you have maybe taken a free course or maybe practiced using CRM during a project. So here's the truth. Just because a job is boring doesn't mean that it is a bad choice. These jobs do come with structure, with benefits, and often with a free company laptop. They're ideal because if you are burnt out from fast-paced roles, or you're wanting something stable, or you're just tired of using your personal device for work, you don't need to be loud, outgoing, or overly creative in order to land one of these jobs. You just need to show employers that you are reliable, you're detail-oriented, and you're coachable. Okay guys, so thank you so much for hanging out with us during the entirety of this boring video. If you have found this helpful, please go ahead and like this video. And if you're interested in an AI-proof job that does not include any coding experience or a college degree, do check out this video. We picked the brains of a real hire that went from moving to a completely different country. She was barely able to speak English, and now she's thriving in her dream role. We talked about how she landed her new role, the application process, the interview process, and so much more. So basically this video even made me start to rethink my career path. So thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely do check this one out, and we will chat in the next video.